these kind of things have slipped out. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Bob Lazar, who supposedly worked at the
I was
Area
going to
51.
bring that up, actually. Yeah.
No, can you explain that a little bit?
So Bob Lazar was somebody I think that worked at what everybody now knows as Area 51 in an area called S4, which is Site 4. It's off. I guess it's a few miles from the main site, and his department supposedly was reverse engineering, and he in theory saw alien crafts, several of them, some in more damaged aspects than others, were totally flyable, so to speak. And I think even at one point he said that he actually saw an alien creature or something that resembled one. He couldn't tell if it was like almost what we would call a flight dummy or something like that, or if it was an actual alien, but it was definitely this little, thing, I guess, or something. So, and the guy's a smart guy. If you Google him and see some of his interviews, he's actually very smart, but he's got quite a story, and I got to admit it is hard to believe it sometimes, because you think there's no way our government would do this to us or whatever. But you
know what's interesting to me, Julian, because I watched him on Joe Rogan a couple times, and he had that Jeremy guy, I forgot his last name, with him. Do you know what I'm talking about? Who I'm talking about?
I think I know who you're talking about.
He's the one that all this new footage that's been coming out. He's the one that's kind of like seemed to be spearheading it. He's always there. But the take that I got, I actually believed Bob Lazar, but he meaning the Jeremy guy, he felt there was just something about him where it felt almost publicity stunt type thing on the Jeremy part. But the Bob Lazar part, I felt like he felt really genuine to me. Some of the stuff is hard to take for sure, like you said. You're like, I don't know, but some of it's really interesting. And from what I understand, like some people are like, the amount of information he had, he probably, it seems like he almost had to have worked there, because I know he talked about also staying outside of Area 51. They would try to film at night or something like that.
Right.
I don't
That's
know
how he got in trouble, apparently.
Yeah.
How he got in trouble was he thought I guess his wife, there's some convoluted story about it, something about his wife was having an affair, but he didn't know it. But apparently when you work there, everything about you is like tapped, like your phones and all that, and so they knew his wife was having an affair, so they just assumed that he would be vulnerable. And somehow this led to him leading other people to go see test flights, I guess, of whatever this reverse engineered stuff was that was amazing. And they got film of it, and I guess that's how he got in trouble, and he went public supposedly so he wouldn't be killed. He says he did it so that he wouldn't just accidentally die. It would be too public if he went public.
That was my next question, is like, how's he still around? Like, that's a terrible question.
Probably why.
Yeah.
If it's to believe, that's why. He never really could answer some questions. Like they would ask him questions that I know that you guys have been interested to, like, are they here to harm us? Do they hate us? That kind of. And I don't know that he ever answered those kind of things. I personally think that if aliens were here to harm us, that they already would have, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, if they've really visited past, in the past, like what Ancient Aliens says they have, they've obviously done stuff to push humanity forward according to that timeline and story. So
right.
I mean, if they were going to come here and like whatever War of the Worlds us, I would have thought they would have already done it. The interesting part that I've always took from that show in general is I think they call it cult culture or something, or food, it's basically it's a new type of a culture that is created when something like that happened. Like, in other words, like, because Ancient Aliens has always said like that they advanced us forward and gave us all the scientific knowledge and everything too. This has actually happened a lot of time. A lot of people don't realize this in recent times, as early as late as I guess I should say World War II, when we were island hopping, trying to get towards Japan. We were landing our very modern, aircraft on little islands and creating little airstrips and stuff. And I guess there were native peoples there that had never seen anything like our technology. And to appease them, we gave them food, like corned beef hash, cans of corned beef hash, and everything, rations and stuff to help them move equipment. Well, when we left, meaning the United States left there, they created a religion around our aircraft.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they made effigies of something that looked like an airplane. They prayed to it. They said one day they will return, because they said, and we became their gods, kind of in a weird way.